everyone, it's Charlotte here from Back to Fitness Physiotherapy. Good news, we are opening again for face-to-face appointments as of the 2nd of June, which is tomorrow. But before we do, I thought I'd better just do a little video just to talk you through some of the many changes that are now happened, and to give you a little tour around so you know what you're expecting. There's quite a bit to say, so if I have to keep referring to my notes, just look over that bit. Okay, so it's certainly not business as usual. One of the major changes is that we now have to have a virtual first appointment with anybody who wants to come. So that's whether it's an existing patient who we already know or a new patient, the first port of call has to be a virtual assessment, which is either over the telephone or Skype or FaceTime or WhatsApp Messenger or Zoom or whatever platform you want to use. We have to do it via that first. It's really so that we can assess the problem, obviously, do the sort of physio side of it, but also to assess you for COVID risk factors if you've been in contact with anybody or if you've got any symptoms of it, and then also to sort of triage you in terms of risk. So some people who are shielding or people who are in the vulnerable groups just can't come for face-to-face treatment. It's as simple as that. So it's to go through all of that really, then sort of do a risk assessment at the end of it to decide whether the benefits of coming to see me are greater than the risks of coming and potentially catching COVID, because it's here, it's in the community, and as with anything, when you go anywhere, there's a risk associated with it. So that's that bit of it all. What we're trying to do as well is, whilst we're in the early stages of lockdown being released, seeing the urgent cases first now, and the sort of more routine stuff as sort of phase 3 comes in July and further down the road. So if it's just you've got a bit of a tweak and you want a bit of a massage, that's going to have to wait till July. That said, urgent doesn't necessarily mean that your leg's dropping off. Urgent's different for different people. So it might be that you're a key worker and you find it really difficult to do your job because you've got back pain, or it might be that you're not sleeping. It might be that your pain's just got worse over the past 12 weeks and you haven't been able to settle it yourself with exercises. Any of those sort of scenarios, you know, problems at work, not being able to look after your kids because you can't bend down to, you know, pick them up or whatever. Urgent's different for different people, and I think if you're at all unsure as to whether your injury would classify as urgent, then just get in touch, talk it through with me, and I'll be able to guide you on that one. In terms of sort of mitigating the risk and reducing the risk to you and me and our families, obviously there's lots of steps that we've taken that I'll show you in a minute. I have to wear a disposable apron, changed for every patient, disposable gloves, changed for every patient, a mask which is a sessional use, so that'll be worn for say the morning and then changed for the afternoon. I do have a visor as well. Now we don't have to wear those, so all I would say is that if you come in coughing and spluttering enough for me to need a visor, then I will be turning you around and sending you back out of the door because you shouldn't be here. So it's there if we need it, but we don't have to wear that. You'll have noticed I am going old school and rocking the old physio tunic, purely because I can wash it at 60 degrees. So at the end of every day, it gets laundered, 60 degrees, kills off any of the nasties that might be on it. In terms of how it's going to work for appointments, first thing to say is if you come in, please be on time, because I have to allow 15 minutes in between every patient to clean down, disinfect everything, change PPE, do all my normal physio bits and pieces. And if you are late for your appointment, I can't overrun, so you'll just lose some of that session. So everybody, please stick to your times. When you first get here, I'm going to ask you to stay outside, either in your car or outdoors, until I text you to say that it's safe to come in. I'll text you, I'll open the front door, that's your cue to come in. I want everybody, well, everybody must have some sort of a face covering. Now you can either wear one if you've got one to protect yourself. If you haven't, don't worry, because I've got some here that you can have. There's disposable ones that are £1 each that you can buy, or there are some reusable, washable material ones which are £5 each. So, but everybody has to wear them. So you'll come in, mask on, gel, hands, and then I'm taking everybody's temperature. It's a no-touch infrared thermometer, just to sort of check. And again, anybody with a temperature of 38 or above, you're not coming in. I don't think you'd be here anyway, because you'd feel pretty lousy if your temperature was like that, but just to screen and make sure we're being totally thorough, that's what I'll be doing. Once you've then once we've done all of that, we'll come through into the treatment room, and in fact, if I just flip this round, I can show you. Oh crikey, I can't flip it round. All right, hang on a minute. So over here, you'll come into the treatment room, door will be open. There are 2 buckets on the floor. I'm going to ask you to bring minimal belongings with you anyway, but the belongings that you do bring with you need to go in one of these, and that's purely because when you leave, I can clean it all down ready for the next person. We're not leaving belongings all over the place. You will then come in, take a seat on the chair. Now you'll notice there's only one, because I don't want people bringing anybody with them. We have to reduce the amount of people that are actually in the clinic. So unless you need a chaperone, or unless you've got mobility problems, which mean that you need to bring somebody with you, I need you to come on your own. If you have to bring somebody with you, then I need to talk to them on the phone first. I need to screen them for all the same things that I'll be screening you for, all the COVID signs and symptoms, risk factors. I also need the name and the contact number, because if there is an instance of COVID, then obviously I've got to be able to track and trace and let everybody know that you know, to make them aware really. So that's one thing to be aware of. PPE, as promised, on there, all very glamorous. You'll see as well the floor. If I come over here a little bit, I have marked out 2 meters. So you will be there, I will be there behind the skeleton. It's all going to feel really weird, it is, but what can we do? It's just how it is, isn't it? Right, back on there. Okay, have I covered that? Yes. Yeah, I guess the other thing to say is that, and this is really obvious if you've been physio before, but when I'm treating you, we will be under 2 meters. We will be next to each other, and I will be touching you. So obviously that increases risk factors. I know it's really obvious to say, but you know, we've just got to make sure that we've said it. Wherever possible, we will do treatment sort of side by side, or if we can do, you'll face down, so that again we haven't got that face-to-face contact, which again reduces risk. So once that's all done and dusted, I will then rebook you as normal if it's appropriate. It might be that we can move to virtual appointments after we've sort of met in person, but we'll reassess that at the end of the session. And then I'll rebook you. I'm not giving out appointment cards because again it's infection risk, so you'll bring something to make a note of it yourself, your phone or a diary or whatever, jot it down. Payment wise, I'm not accepting any cash or checks or anything that I've got to go to a bank and pay in or handle. So ideally, payment's going to be either through an iZettle link, which I'll send you, which you can pay for before you come, then it's done. You'll be able to pay through the website as well, so it's done and dusted. If you absolutely need to pay by card, that's fine, but contact us wherever possible, please, because again, it just reduces the risk of transmission. And then when we've done all of that, that's pretty much it. I want you to gel your hands before you go. Obviously, if you want to get rid of your mask, you can pop it in our clinical ways. We can get rid of it for you, and then off you go on your way. I think I said earlier, but I have allowed 15 minutes in between each set of patients to clean down everything. Rest assured that anything that you might have touched will be cleaned with either soap and water or a bleach solution, Dettol spray, antiviral stuff, all of that to sort of make sure it's sanitised for you. That will include things like door handles, banisters, light switches, tabletops, obviously the plinth, any exercise equipment you might have used. On the plinth, the pillows now are waterproof, washable ones, so they'll be washed down in between. New bedroll on each time, so again that keeps you protected. One thing to say in reception, we'll go out there in a second, is that the upstairs is out of bounds, so the toilets are not in use. Make sure that you can last the duration of the session, please, without needing the toilet. To be honest, if you need the loo and you can't hang on for half an hour, then it's not me that you need to be seeing, it's probably somebody else. But yeah, just so you know, make sure that you've done your ablutions before you come. I'll quickly show you around there. I suppose the only other thing to say is that anything that you could do to share this or, give it a like or whatever, you just sort of promote this would really, really help. I'm now at the stage where I'm having to try and rebuild the clinic, and obviously I need patients to rebuild the clinic. So what I'm really hoping, in a strange sort of way, is that all this time, in lockdown, where people have been able to go running every day and they've been working from home and hunched over the computers, that they might have a few niggles and aches and pains and need to see somebody like me. So if you know anybody that does, please point them in my direction. I would really appreciate it. I'll just show you reception and then we're done, and I won't take any more of your time up. So just whiz through, twizzle it around. So yeah, just everything's sort of been cleaned down a little bit really. As you can see, we have the sanitizer is everywhere. Material face masks, single-use disposable face masks. We have the upstairs, which is now out of bounds. More sanitizer solution, it's everywhere. And I think that's it really, guys. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble on for 10 minutes. Just important to get it out there just so people understand what they're walking into. And yeah, take care. Maybe see you soon. Thanks. Bye.